Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतम सावधूतम परिजन सहितम कृष्ण चैतन्य देवम श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय ददालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः हरे कृष्ण thank you dear devotees for joining the reading and studying of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. In throughout the Chaitanya Charitamrita we find Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu and all the other associates, primarily the Panchatattva, are glorified using this verse. Even as a Mangalacharan normally to any class that glorifies Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just like in Bhagavatam, whenever we have a class that glorifies Krishna, we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Likewise, normally whenever we glorify Chaitanya Mahaprabhu profusely, this also used like a Mangalacharan. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya. All glories to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jaya Nityananda. All glories to his brother, transcendental brother Nityananda Prabhu, who is Balaram. Jai Advaita. All glories to Advaita Acharya, the personality who brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu down. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Gadadhar Pandit, and all glories to Srivas. That Gadadhar Pandit who is not different from Srimati Radharani. He who would help Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taste the mood of Srimati Radharani. And Srivas, who is none other than the devotee. So all five personalities, the Supreme Lord, Nityananda Prabhu, who's Guru Tattva, Advaita Acharya, the personality who gets him down, Gadadhar, who is Radharani, and Srivas, who plays the role of a devotee. All five personalities coming down in the form of the Panchatattva. So here we find Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now is deciding after his Chaturmasi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now deciding to go to different places to shower his mercy on the different personalities who are present who may or may not, for different reasons, meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going out, just like Jagannath. Not everyone can enter the Jagannath temple due to different reasons. But Jagannath once a year he comes out. He comes out. And he's so kind, he just doesn't come out in Orissa, but he also comes out in different parts of the world to people who are meat eaters, who are probably mlechas, yavanas, who are bahirmukh, who don't want to be with Krishna, who don't want to speak about Krishna, who are averse to hearing about Krishna. Prabhu Jagannath personally comes out and gives his darshan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also like that. He goes to different places only so that people can be benefited by his presence. So in that way, we find Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After the 4 months of Chaturmas, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now going out. And we will see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will dance with different animals in a Jarikhatta forest, while at the same time, he decides to initially go alone. But then the devotees said that no, my dear Lord, you should have an associate. And Mahaprabhu was little reluctant for that because Mahaprabhu earlier had Kala Krishna Das. And we have heard, for those devotees who were there, we have heard as to how Kala Krishna Das fell victim to a woman. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after that was not very happy. So now Mahaprabhu was reluctant to take anyone. But still, the devotees, they uh, persuaded the Lord that, my dear Lord, please come. And eventually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he goes to different places and he also tries to take one associate. Who that associate is, we will see. When the autumn season arrived, Lord Chaitanya again decided to go to Vrindavan. Then Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar Goswami requested, please take a Brahmana assistant with you to collect alms, cook prasad, and carry water pot for you. During the South India tour, Kala Krishnadas fell victim to a woman, and the Lord had to take the trouble to free him. So Lord Chaitanya said, I want a man with a peaceful mind, जिनका मन चंचल ना हो, मुझे ऐसा व्यक्ति दो, ना कि वो व्यक्ति मेरे साथ आए और फिर मानो यहाँ वहाँ माया के प्रभाव में पड़ जाए और अब मुझे उसे छुड़ाना पड़े. Don't send such a person. Send someone who's little peaceful, little calm. I shall not take I shall not take any of my associates, for choosing one would make others happy. यदि मैं चूज करने लगूं कि नहीं नहीं, मुझे ये चाहिए, तो फिर बाकी अन्य जितने भी मेरे पार्षद हैं उन्हें बुरा लगेगा. They will think that, oh, the Lord is picking him over me, which means he likes that associate over me, which means the Lord doesn't like me. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doesn't want to get into this competition. He said, आप decide कीजिए आप किनको भेजना है. So Prabhupada writes a very interesting point here. Prabhupada writes that Maya is so strong unless one is determined himself. Even the Supreme Lord cannot protect. The example is Kala Krishna Das. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally present with Kala Krishna Das, but still he fell victim. And there are many other examples also. In the ninth canto of the Bhagavatam, we have Shaubhari Muni who is doing bhajan in Vrindavan under Yamuna. अब ब्रज धाम की कितनी महिमा है, यमुना महारानी की कितनी महिमा है. Still, he is there in Vrindavan, he is there underneath Yamuna, but comes out and gets attracted to Maya. Not comes out, but inside water gets attracted to Maya and then comes out. Let's put it that way. So Prabhupada writes this point that unless and until one is determined that he doesn't want to fall victim to Maya, the Supreme Lord cannot protect. If that determination is there, then Krishna will protect. But if that thought process is also not there, that determination is not there, then even Krishna cannot help, even Krishna cannot protect. Like in English, there is this saying, God helps those who helps themselves. Right? So in that way. Swarup Damodar then introduced Balabhadra Bhattacharya and said, He has got he has got great affection for you. So Balabhadra Bhattacharya is one associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is honest, scholarly, and advanced in spiritual consciousness. He will be happy if you take another, we will be happy if you take another Brahmana servant to carry your food and water pot. Balabhadra will collect alms and he will cook food. The Lord agreed. So they had to literally give reasons why the Lord should take him and what are the qualities he has and what are the things that he will do. And then the Lord said, okay, theek hai, aaja. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has some concerns and he has some rules. Primarily, he doesn't want to take associates because he doesn't want them to get allured by anything. ताकि मन यहाँ वहाँ ना जाए. He doesn't want to take anyone because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be busy meeting different people. So he may or may not have attention for his associates. But if the associate is staying back where he is, then he is in the proximity of Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda, and they will take care. So it is not that the Lord doesn't want an associate to come with him, but primarily it is to protect the spiritual life of that associate. ताकि यदि जगन्नाथपुरी में रहे तो स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदा है और वो संभाल लेंगे. They will take care of this associate. But because The Lord is also Bhakta Vatsal. He's Bhavagrahi Janardana. He accepts the mood. And when that same Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramanand are begging the Lord that, my dear Lord, please take Balabhadra Bhattacharya. The Lord, he says, okay, I will accept him. Lord Chaitanya departed early the next morning. He abandoned the public road and traveled through a solitary forest, chanting Krishna's names. Lord passed right through packs of tigers, boars, elephants, and rhinoceros. Ballabhadra was afraid. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was calm. And these are the most ferocious animals in the form of tigers, boars, elephants, and rhinoceros. Ballabhadra Bhattacharya was afraid. The Lord touched the tiger with his foot and said, chant Hare Krishna. Now, this is height of preaching. Hmm. We find it difficult to preach to ourselves. बाद की तो बाद में देखेंगे. अपने आप को यदि प्रचार करना है वो ही हम, it's very difficult. Then we try to preach to others. We do so many programs, home programs, school, college program, university program, this, that, so many temple programs. Why? So that people chant Hare Krishna. लेकिन इतना किसी में सामर्थ्य नहीं कि मानो व्यक्ति जाकर एक शेर या इत्यादि को बोले कि आप महामंत्र जपिए, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र जपिए. Unless until that person is completely drunk, he will not do it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing it. Mahaprabhu is spiritually drunk. Mahaprabhu is so spiritually maddened that he is not thinking whether he is a human or whether he is an animal. Does he have a soul? Yes. Does he follow the concept of Jive Raswarupa Krishna and Nityadas? Yes. Then I should give mercy. Body is not of consideration to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. क्या ये भगवान का अंश है? हाँ है. क्या ये भगवान से विमुख है? हाँ है. तो क्या ये मेरा कर्तव्य बनता है कि मैं इसे भी हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र का ये भेंट प्रदान करूं? हाँ. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touches and says, you chant Hare Krishna. This is the height of compassion. Jayananda Prabhu had this quality. He was so compassionate that when he was detected with cancer, blood cancer, and he was not very old, he was still young. So when he was detected with blood cancer, he was very reluctant to be even admitted in the hospital because he said, oh, this is Prabhupada's money. How can I use this? So then they finally said, Prabhupada will be happy if you're admitted in the hospital and if you're getting treated. So then he agreed. And then he was admitted in the hospital to treat cancer, blood cancer. And as they were putting different salines in his body and giving injections and all these things, at what point Jayananda Prabhu, he started reading Krishna book in the hospital. And he was reading it like, the way we are reading it this way. So then the nurse, they came and said, oh, you cannot do this. He said, why? They said, no, it will disturb the patient next to you. They may or may not want to hear, so you are forcefully reading this. It will it will disturb them. Jayananda Prabhu on purpose wanted to do this because those who are there in the next beds, they will not come to Krishna. But now forcefully that they have come to hospital, I will make sure that they hear about Krishna. So that was Jayananda Prabhu. So the nurse said, no, you cannot do this. This is not your temple. If you want to read it loud, you go to your temple. This is a hospital. You have to uh, respect the privacy of other patients who are there. They may not want to hear this loud. So Jayananda Prabhu still was doing it. And eventually when he got like a final warning, the nurse said, you cannot do this. We are telling you one last time, you cannot do this. If you want to do it, you just leave the hospital. And Jayananda Prabhu, not caring of his blood cancer, not caring of his leukemia, Jayananda Prabhu just ripped all the salines that were there in his body. And he himself walked out of the hospital. He said, if they are not going to allow me to preach, I don't want to be here. My human body is given for preaching. Prabhupada will be so disappointed, and Krishna will be so disappointed that after getting this human body, I'm not preaching. I'm using it and I'm just wasting time sleeping in this hospital bed. Well, he was not wasting time. He was recovering, right? Prabhupada will not say anything. Krishna will also not say anything because realistically, the person is going through cancer. While he was hale and hearty, he did so much for Prabhupada. But Jayananda's Prabhu's mood was so exalted, even in that cancer stage when people are suffering at the peak, the utmost level. He said, I don't want to just be sleeping here and wasting time not preaching. Better I leave the hospital and go out and preach. And he left the hospital. He walked out. The nurses were perplexed. What person is this? Is he okay? Does he understand he has cancer? And what is this book so important to him that he is ready to leave even the hospital? अब उनको कौन बोले? How will they understand what is the mood of Jayananda Prabhu? Shripa Jayananda Prabhu left only so that he could go out and preach, not even considering about his mm, bodily state. And many times he would also have this habit that he would sit under trees, different trees that are there uh, close to the San Francisco Temple, Hay Ashbury Street. They would have trees, apple trees, and so many others. And Jayananda Prabhu sometimes would sit under an apple tree or sometimes under some other tree. And underneath the tree, he would read Krishna book. पेड़ के लिए कृष्णा बुक पढ़ते थे. हम क्या करते हैं, हम मानो हम यदि कलयुग कितना बढ़ गया है, देखिए. हम यदि पेड़ देखें तो आजकल लोग पेड़ काटते हैं, क्यों? क्योंकि वहां मकान बनाना है, आलीशान घर बनाना है, तो पेड़ काट देते हैं. ये नहीं सोचते कि जो पेड़ है उसमें भी एक मानव शरीर है, उसका भी एक स्वास्थ्य है, उसको भी पीड़ा होगी. लेकिन आजकल लोग पेड़ काट देते हैं ताकि मकान बनाए. और यहाँ हमारे जयानंद प्रभु है, जो मानो पेड़ के नीचे बैठते थे और उस पेड़ को कृष्णा मुख पढ़ते थे. क्यों? क्योंकि जयानंद प्रभु सोचते थे कि ये जो पेड़ है, ये भजन नहीं कर सकता, ये भगवान से विमुख है. इफ यू एसोसिएट विद दोज हु आर sattvic oriented, mode of goodness, then we get a very high birth. Like demigods and devatas like that. If we associate with people who are very rajasic, passionate, then the chances of we appearing back in this world as human beings are very high. But if we associate with those who are very tamasic, very tamasic, who are breaking the regulative principles, eating meat, drinking alcohol, and so many others, gambling, etc., then we get demoted. We go down to the lower species. And lower species means animals, reptiles, insects, plants, so many others, aquatics. So this is why following of the regulative principles is very important, because it is not following regulative principles is not bhakti. यदि कोई चार नियम पालन करे तो इसका ये अर्थ नहीं कि वो व्यक्ति भक्ति कर रहा है. चार नियम, मेरे महाराज जी बोलते हैं, चार नियम इसीलिए दिए गए हैं ताकि व्यक्ति को इंसानियत के स्तर पर लेके आए. Four regulative principles are meant to be followed to get the person to the human platform. It is not bhakti. It is not bhakti. Prabhupada had to start that as the basic because people were not even following that. So first he had to get people to the human platform, and only when you come to the human platform can you start bhakti from there. So four regulative principles is so important to first get us to the Manushya Sthiti, human platform. So if we associate with tamasic people, we go down to the uh, lower planets. So Jayananda Prabhu was thinking that these trees, these plants are there. They will probably find it very difficult to get Krishna. Their waiting time is a lot because अब पेड़ बने हैं, इसके बाद मानो मछली बनेंगे. They will become some reptile, they'll become some insect, they'll become some bird, they'll become some animal, and this is going to take a very long time. And by the time they get a human birth, it's possible the ISKCON movement may not be there. It's possible the books may not be there. It's possible the sadhus may not be there. It's only it's only 5,000 years since Kali Yuga started. The overall lifespan of Kali Yuga is 4 lakh 32,000 years, of which only 5,000 years are done, which means another 4 lakh 27,000 years are still present. So just in 5,000 years, we find So much destruction has already started. Temples are being uh, broken, deities are being attacked, devotees are being killed. We are seeing what's going on in Bangladesh, right? So much riots and so much opposition. It's just 5,000 years. We can imagine what will be the state in another 5,000 years from now. What will be the state in another 20,000 years from now? What will happen to the end of Kali Yuga? When we reach 4 lakh 29,000 years, 4 lakh 30,000 years, how bad will Kali Yuga be? If now itself people have no repentance of breaking deities and breaking temples, what to speak of now? Aurangzeb did that no, a few hundred years back for Govinda Dev temple in Vrindavan, right? उसका प्रमाण आज भी है। यदि हम ब्रज जाए तो गोविंद देव मंदिर देखे तो मंदिर का ऊपर का जो हिस्सा है, भाग है, वो मानो पूरी तरीके से टूट गया है। So few hundred years back, he had the audacity to do it. And it's still going on. Of course, it's not started in a big scale because people still respect temples, but we are still hearing it. We're still hearing it. How about Mayapur temple where 1984 the dacoits came and they stole the deity of Radharani? 1984. They came and they stole the deity of Srimati Radharani because they thought, oh, ISKCON people means they put a lot of gold on the deities. बहुत सोना इत्यादि पहनाते हैं, तो यदि हम मूर्ति को ही चोरी कर ले तो कितना सारा सोना प्राप्त होगा. So 1984 they came and they stole the deity of Radharani just after maybe 10 years of uh, ISKCON Mayapur. 1974 ISKCON Mayapur started. This was 1984. So we see that how Kali Yuga is progressing downwards in a very rapid pace. Mhm. So it's of paramount importance that we pay attention to our bhakti and also try to give it out to others. And Jayananda Prabhu was someone who paid a lot of attention to his own bhakti, while at the same time he also gave it out in the form of patients who are there in the hospital, while being in a state of blood cancer, while at the same time even speaking Hari Katha to trees. And where is this coming from? It is coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was making even the animals chant Hare Krishna. He was making the tigers chant Hare Krishna. He was making the boars, the elephants, the rhinoceros, the snakes. They were all in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were all completely maddened and they were chanting Hare Krishna. This is highest level of compassion. Of course, we don't copy Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We try to preach to human beings. And trees are also okay. It's going near a tree and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But we don't, हम इतने में साहसी ना बने कि हम मानो शेर के सामने जाए और बोले आप हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र जपिए. तो शेर तो शायद मंत्र जपेगा नहीं, लेकिन हमें देखकर महाप्रसाद जरूर बोलेगा. He will definitely chant Mahaprasad and he will eat us. So we take the principle of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We don't copy him, we take the principle. And that principle is to preach. जादे देखो तारे कहा कृष्ण उपदेश हमारा आज्ञा गुरु है तारे यही देश. That whomever we meet, we try our level best to preach the message of Krishna consciousness. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu placed his foot on the tiger and said, chant Hare Krishna. And the tiger chanted. A herd of maddened elephants came to drink water near a river where Lord Chaitanya was bathing and chanting Gayatri. The Lord splashed some water on them and asked them to chant. The elephants began to chant Krishna, Krishna, and dance and sing in ecstasy. And it's not the first time we are seeing an elephant chant. We have seen Gajendra do it. Gajendra was chanting Sanskrit verses, glorifying the Lord and beseeching the Lord to come down to this world. Why? Because he could do it because in his previous life he was Maharaj Indradumna. As Maharaj Indradumna, he had studied so much Shastra that now, even though he became an elephant, the old memories of him studying Shastra all came back. Krishna gave it the memory at the time when he needed it the most. So it's very important. The Shastra that we study now is not just for this lifetime. It's possible that this Shastra that we're studying now may help us in our next lifetime also. Of course, the ultimate aim is to not take another life. That is the ultimate. But मानो यदि इस जीवन में कृष्ण को प्राप्त नहीं कर पाए, फिर भी यदि भजन किए हैं इस जीवन में, then in next life Krishna will give us a circumstance and he will also give us that memory wherein our samskaras are so good. Purva janma samskars, as they say. Our past life impressions are so good that naturally, instead of doing things that are against Krishna consciousness, instead of picking, a beer bottle in our hand, instead of picking a cigarette in our hand, we may pick up Srimad Bhagavatam in our hand because they're Purva janma samskars. Because in our previous life we have done it, it's again coming back. So there is nothing to be disheartened about. यदि इस जीवन में भी यदि भगवान प्राप्त नहीं हुए, still we have not lost anything. This is the only thing wherein we don't lose. Anything else material we find, we will end up losing. But it's only Krishna consciousness that we see whatever bhakti, little bhakti also we do. Krishna says that in the Gita also. Little bhakti also we do it, just carry forwards. So here, elephants were chanting. Mahaprabhu just splashed little water on them and said, आप भगवान नाम जपिए. And जो हाथी थे, वो भी मानो भगवान नाम जपने लगे. The tiger started chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Some elephants fell to the ground and some screamed in ecstasy. Some deer followed Lord Chaitanya as he chanted loudly. The Lord patted them, reciting a verse from Venugit sung by the gopis. तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु शेर इत्यादि के सामने है, हाथी के सामने है, सर्प के सामने है, और फिर भी चैतन्य महाप्रभु उन्हें भगवान नाम जपने के लिए प्रेरित करते हैं. उतना ही नहीं, लेकिन वेणु गीत से एक श्लोक जो महाप्रभु कंठस्थ है, महाप्रभु उसका उच्चारण करते हैं. हाउ मेनी ऑफ अस विल रिमेंबर अ वर्स फ्रॉम शास्त्र व्हेन वी आर इन फ्रंट ऑफ अ लायन और अ टाइगर? लीव अलोन वेणु गीत. हमें शायद सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य ये श्लोक भी स्मरण नहीं होगा, है ना? यदि हम if we are in front of such animals, even basic shastric words we will not be able to remember. Leave alone a basic shastric words, even probably Hare Krishna Mahamantra we will not be able to remember. If a lion or a tiger is there, we will be like, Mommy, Mommy, Daddy, or whatever. We'll say all these things. Trying to call out to the person, hoping that those people will help us. But seldom will be able to remember Krishna. Leave alone chanting a verse from the Venu Gita that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here is doing. The tigers joined the deer and danced and jumped. The tigers and deers embraced and kissed each other. When was the last time you turned on National Geographic and you saw a tiger and deer are embracing each other and kissing each other? होता है क्या कभी? यदि हम नेशनल ज्योग्राफिक एनिमल प्लांट ऑन करें टीवी में, टाइगर एंड डियर, फॉर द टाइगर डियर इज महाप्रसाद, एंड फॉर द डियर द टाइगर इज डेथ. We don't find a tiger and deer embracing each other and that too kissing each other. Oh, this is height of compassion. But with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's presence, anything is possible. If a stone can melt, that hard that hard stone, if it can melt by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's foot, if the hard stone of Vrindavan can melt by Krishna's placing of the foot, hmm, why will the hard heart of the animals, why will they not melt? Like tiger and so many others. So here, tiger and deer, they're all coming together in Jarikhanda forest, and they're all embracing. In fact, I have not been there, but I've heard devotees saying that the imprints are still there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing in the Jarikhanda forest, um, the footprint of the elephants dancing, the uh, imprints of the snakes, the imprints of the tiger and lion. These things are still there, and Sometimes devotees go for such yatras also. It's a different kind of yatra to see the imprints of animals. But these imprints are still there. It's been 500 years, and in the Jarikhanda forest, it's still there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing with these transcendental animals. And another point that we can understand is if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can make the animals dance at Jarikhanda forest, he can make us also dance. Why? Because this material world is like a forest, and we are like animals. Those who are not performing bhakti, those who are not serious on the path of Krishna consciousness are like animals. So if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can make the animals dance, he can also make us dance. He can also make us dance on this path of Krishna consciousness. So it's a very hope-giving pastime. It's a very hope-giving pastime. Seeing this fun, Lord Chaitanya smiled and Balabhadra Bhattacharya was astonished. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Bhagavan. He is there as Paramatma in the heart of all these animals, but not Balabhadra Bhattacharya. Imagine you go to a zoo, and in the zoo you find a lion, tiger, etc. So the person, and imagine if the lion and tiger are set free. Sometimes in some, mostly in most of the zoos, we find the lion and tiger, they're put behind a cage. And then we are walking freely and we see them. And sometimes you see in Africa and all those places, the lion and tiger will be roaming free. And we are there in a bus which is filled with cage. There are videos that we will find where the tourists who are there, they are going in bus which is filled with cage, and the lion and tiger are roaming free. So in that instance, we find the zookeeper who is there, he may not be afraid. He may not be afraid because he knows the lions and tigers personally. But we will be afraid. We will be very afraid. Even though we are there with the zookeeper who is very confident that nothing will happen, but still we will be afraid. Why? Because they are lions and tigers. How much ever six pack we have and how much ever Olympic gold medal we have got, in front of lion, everyone will be afraid, right? So even though the uh, zookeeper is there with us, we will still shake. We will still be afraid. Similarly, Balabhadra Bhattacharya is there with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu is that zookeeper who is not just taking care of the animals, he's making the animals even dance. But Balabhadra Bhattacharya is still afraid. He just wants to get out from here. Balabhadra Bhattacharya is like almost thinking that was it a good decision to accompany Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He is there dancing with animals, and this is just the start of my yatra. I don't know what else he's going to do and whom else he's going to make them dance. So Balabhadra Bhattacharya in this way is afraid. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understands, and then both of them continue on their onward journey. Peacocks and other birds chanted and danced, maddened by Krishna's holy name. Hearing this, the trees and creepers all became jubilant. The loud chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is so powerful that it can even penetrate the ears of trees and creepers. What to speak of those animals and human beings? Mhm. Thus, all moving and non moving beings in Sharikhanda forest were maddened by hearing Krishna's holy name, vibrated by the lotus lips of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In all the villages through which he passed or stayed to rest, everyone was purified and awakened by Prema Bhakti. Those who chanted Krishna Nam inspired several others also to chant. Lord Chaitanya did not always manifest his ecstasy, but concealed it, being afraid of great crowds. Yet people became Vaishnava simply by seeing him and hearing him. The Lord gave even the aborigines at Jarikhanda Krishna Nam and Prema. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was ready to give his mercy to practically everyone, to male, to female, to animals, to herbivorous animals, to carnivorous animals, to whomever he met, whoever came in the path of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, were blessed by the mercy of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Mhm. Because he's coming down for this. Namo Mahavadanyai Krishna Prema Pradayate. Mhm. He's coming down to give Krishna Prema. And this Krishna Prema is not just limited to humans. It's limited even, it extends even to the animal species. Because we find even animals are examples of animals who have done considerable amount of bhakti, way more than even the humans. We have Gajendra, we have Garuda, we have Hanumanji, we have Jambavan. They're all different species, right? Garuda is a bird, Hanuman is a monkey, Gajendra is an elephant, Jambavan is a bear. So these are all animals who did bhakti and were in the mood of a servant, the Supreme Lord, ready to serve him. So the Lord's mercy extends even to the animals, extends even to all species. And the devotees are like that, like Jayananda prabhu. Their mercy extends even to patients in a hospital. Their mercy extends even to the trees in San Francisco. Imagine a tree in San Francisco will probably, it will take another 50,000, 1 lakh years probably to get a human birth. And that too in the 1960s, where uh, everyone would take drugs, everyone would take LSD and would just be lying in the road like hippies. How will a tree get a human birth? And even if it does, what will the tree do after getting human birth? Will again do the same thing that's going on, taking drugs and gambling, etc. Jayananda Prabhu is that personality who was ready to show compassion so that this tree, this Jivatma that is there, is can break all barriers and go from a tree body straight to a human body. And because it has heard Krishna book, it will not enter into the cage of uh, gambling and intoxication, etc., but will be fortunate enough to come in contact with devotees from where the Jivatma can perform bhakti and go back to Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's compassion extends to everyone. And likewise, the devotees are also like that. They do bhakti, janma sarthaka kari, kar paro upkar. They will do bhakti and they will also give it out to everyone, including the animals, including the trees, including everyone. So in this way, we very humbly want to stop here, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining.